You'll agree with me that in the absence of a national carrier, the trajectory on aviation has been on a steep decline over the years. What this program seeks to do is to demystify aviation, walk you through the many evolutions it's undergone, and how far technology currently continues to shape the safety of air travel. With some 15 years as a cabin crew, transitioning from Ghana Airways to Ghana International Airlines, then to Fly 540, I'll be your host for this program. My name is Truth Kojoda, you can call me TK. We'll be taking a short commercial break.
We are celebrating 7 years of passion in the skies. From our first takeoff in Accra to the heartlands of Kumasi, Tamale, Takoradi, Wa, and Sunyani, Passion Air has proudly connected Ghana for 7 incredible years. You know that's right. And through every challenge and every milestone, we have remained steadfast and committed to delivering smooth and reliable air travel to you, our passengers. As we mark this remarkable milestone, we say thank you for flying with us, believing in us, and growing with us. This celebration is not just ours, it is yours too. We have weathered storms, soared above the clouds, and kept our sight high because your comfort and satisfaction have always been at the heart of our mission. Here is to 7 years of excellence and to many more journeys together. Passion Air, connecting Ghana, one city at a time.
This show is sponsored by
Viewers, you're welcome back from a commercial break. Here with me is Captain Nasser Sinari, Chief Pilot, Passion Air. We're having an interesting conversation here. Captain, many a seasoned air traveler wonders what makes aircrafts take off. But before then, let me ask you this. How safe is air travel?
Air travel is safe. Okay, it's actually safer to travel by air than by road. Yeah, air travel is very safe. It's put it this way: aviation. It's apart from the space shuttle, NASA, National Aeronautical Space Administration. The aviation industry itself is the most regulated industry in the world. Very, very regulated. So we are being checked in everything that we do. So safety-wise, it's very safe. People ask me lots of questions about flying, how an aircraft flies. Is it the engine? Is it what? No. The engine is what propels the aircraft forward. That's it. That moves the aircraft.
Are people out convinced to fly to Kumasi under 30 minutes here or there, but they insist, I want to go by road. I'm not going to fly. Right. Those are the people I want you to convince.
Let's put it this way. A lot of passengers, or let me say some passengers, okay, flying, some are first-time travelers, okay, some have just probably have had maybe like two experiences. Okay. And for a first-time traveler, you know, flying along and all of a sudden you hit some small turbulence. You know, small turbulence, that's for us, but for that person,
it's a big deal.
That's a big deal, you know. So it's the aircraft is not going to fall off the skies. Never. It's not going to do that, you know. And we have a weather radar which we can use to detect all the bad weather around. And turbulence, there's so many things that can cause turbulence, you know, especially when you're landing, hot temperatures, especially in the afternoons. Okay. You know, early morning flights, evening flights, as you get closer to the ground, passengers, just watch out. I mean, there's not much turbulence. Okay. But in the afternoons, coming into land, as you get closer to the ground, you have lots of turbulence. Okay. This is due to the rising warm air from the ground. Okay. So it's actually normal, you know. So it's not the pilot's fault that the pilot is intentionally shaking. No, we don't want to shake. We want to fly the plane to make you more comfortable. You know, it's not our intention to or to fly into bad weather. No pilot in this world, no pilot, I would say no pilot.
He loves his life too.
Would love to, or like to fly into bad weather. Impossible.
Okay.
Impossible. Every pilot wants to fly safe, wants you to have a comfortable ride so you can remember that very day. Okay. Every pilot wants to land safely. I always want to fly up in the skies, land back safely, shut down my engines with my passengers, all happy and excited. You know, so don't be scared. Don't be scared about air travel. It's the safest. Our airspace here is also very safe. So just next time you fly around, the aircraft shakes a bit. No, don't be scared. You know, because the little shaking, you've got lots of people. You know, some pray. You know, call names. You know, and one passenger once asked me that, "Do you have parachutes on board?" Well, I actually teased him back. Yes, we do have parachutes. We only have 2, but only for the pilots. You know, no, but we don't have parachutes on board. Okay. Air travel is very safe. You fly for Accra to Kumasi, it's safe. If the weather is bad, we don't go. You know, sometimes you can be at the airport and we tell the passenger that, or the passengers that, look, the weather is bad. But now the passenger looks up in the skies
and he doesn't see anything.
But it's
along the route.
Yes, but it's a route weather.
Yeah.
So it gets very bad. We assess it. You know, we have a flight dispatch office. The captain, the first officer, they sit together, they assess it, you know, and then if they have to delay the flight, that flight will be delayed, you know, when the weather passes through, and then we depart. But if it's bad, it's bad.
We'll come back to talk more about turbulence, but briefly, what makes this metal bed defy gravity and take off?
All right.
Many seasoned traveler is a mystery. Really? Can you break it down for us, please?
Sure. In simplicity, or in simple terms, it's due to air pressure, all right? The air that flows underneath the wing. Now, if you look at the aircraft wing, the wing of an aircraft, underneath, it looks much flatter than the top. Okay. You know, the top, it comes of curves, you know. So as the air flows on top of the wing, eventually it drops, and then it actually produces a low pressure, and the air underneath the wing produces a higher pressure. So that's what sustains the air.
So it lifts it up.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, nothing besides that. Yeah, so it's just a differential pressure.
I want you to explain this to the layman or that person who is scared of flying. What really causes turbulence? What makes the aircraft shake as if it's going to drop from the skies? What really causes?
You can be flying and then we've got what you call clear air turbulence, okay? Clear air turbulence, you fly in clear skies, all of a sudden you hear some turbulence, becomes uncomfortable. Catering services are suspended, but that doesn't mean that the aircraft is going to fall off the sky. You know, it becomes uncomfortable, but just have your seat belts fastened. Secondly, to flying over mountains, high terrain, you know, like especially if you fly over the Ebri Hills, you know, you could expect some turbulence as you get lower, closer to the ground, due to what we call mountain waves, you know. So you could expect some turbulence from that.
Okay, so the wind rushing over the surface of the... Okay.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. You know, you can actually get turbulence also from weather, bad weather. You know, once you go through some weather, you can actually get turbulence. So just imagine yourself in a pool. If you dive into the pool, the impact, you know, that you go through, the same thing that when you fly into clouds. You know, so when you fly into clouds, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. So it actually reacts. The reaction is, you know, aircraft shakes a bit, and it's not our intention to shake the aircraft. But flying into clouds, definitely you have some small turbulence here and there. But usually what happens is that we actually...
rising hot air?
Yeah, rising hot air, as well, we call it rising hot air, and thermals, and yeah, basically that also causes turbulence as well when you get closer to the ground. Okay, when you get closer to the ground, heat from the ground rising.
Shaking.
Yeah, so usually, and then also when you depart, a very hot afternoon, departing, the aircraft shaking a bit. This is the rising warm air from the ground, okay, thermal heat.
Oh, that feeling you get when, like, you lift off over LWAC. To the layman, it's like you're changing gears or something, and the aircraft feels like it's dropping. You feel it in your belly.
You feel it in your belly, okay.
Yes,
So
like
that might be to turbulence, you know, some slight turbulence. And then, but it's nothing to worry about. So usually what we do is that we actually inform the passengers ahead that, hey, as we get closer to the ground, we will be experiencing some slight turbulence here and there. At least passenger can be prepared, you know, and know that, yes, something is coming up, you know. But don't be scared. Don't be scared. If the weather is bad, there's no one going to fly, okay? And it's a prediction. Put it this way, weather is a prediction. Okay, it's something which is being predicted, you know. So sometimes you get up in the skies and you know, you're expecting this, but it might be larger than what you expected, you know, and you have to come up with a plan quickly. You know, it's either you divert, go back, you know, or you make a plan, you know, go around it, but there's no way that we're going to fly our passengers right into the cell. Yeah, no way.
Well, Captain, on that turbulent note, viewers, we're going on a short commercial break. Please don't go away, we'll be right back.
We are celebrating 7 years of passion in the skies. From our first takeoff in Accra to the heartlands of Kumasi, Tamale, Takoradi, Wa, and Sunyani, Passion Air has proudly connected Ghana for 7 incredible years. You know that's right. And through every challenge and every mile flown, we have remained steadfast and committed to delivering smooth and reliable air travel to you, our passengers. As we mark this remarkable milestone, we say thank you for flying with us, believing in us, and growing with us. This celebration is not just ours, it is yours too. We have weathered storms, soared above the clouds, and kept our sight high because your comfort and satisfaction have always been at the heart of our mission. Here is to 7 years of excellence and to many more journeys together. Passion Air, connecting Ghana, one city at a time.
This show is sponsored by
You're welcome back. We have on the show Captain Nasser Sinari. Captain, how often do you get to go on training, like annually or quarterly? How often?
Aviation is so regulated. For example, the way we sit it, you know, anyone can sit just like this, but in aviation, it's so regulated that they give you what you call, for example, special way of sitting,
grooming,
distance away, and this and that and that and that. It's a lot. It's quite a lot. We undergo twice in a year. We go for what we call flight simulator.
Flight simulator.
Okay. We've got what we call the proficiency prof check.
Okay.
You know, it's mandatory. You go twice a year.
Okay.
You sit in the simulator for 4 hours in the simulator for the first day. The second day also another 4 hours, which is a test. You know, and we have what we call the line training as well, once a year. The training captain, you know, comes in, sits with you, checks you out to make sure that you're compliant, up to date, compliant with all the standards. We do ground school as well, once in a year, all the systems of the aircraft, general knowledge, lots of exams, you know. So we go back to the classroom, we sit in the classroom, you know, we get taught, refresh our memory, and then you need to pass. If you don't make a pass, you resit.
Typically, what's a pass?
So a pass is
on a scale of 100?
75.
75.
Yes, 75, yeah. Then we come back and your mistakes have to be corrected. You understand?
Because you can't afford to make mistakes in
you
the
can't
air.
afford to make mistakes. You know, mistakes have been corrected.
On a typical working day, let's say you have a flight today. Just walk us through. You leave home, get to the airport, sign in.
So I usually get to the airport half an hour before sign on, and then I get my iPad out, you know, go through my emergencies, go through some technical information that I need to just review, refresh my memory, you know. So I use like 15 minutes, 20 minutes for that, and then jump on the bus, drops us at the dispatch office. So once you get to the dispatch office or the operational control center, then you have all your paperwork. You have your flight plan, you have your NOTAMs. Your NOTAMs, very, very important. For example, if I'm flying to Kumasi and the airport is going to be closed, let's say from 10 to 12, you have a NOTAM which notifies you that if there's not going to be fuel, you get advice. And then also you get your weather report as well. We've got what they call a dispatch release. So there's so many documents that you need to go through. So the crew will all go through that. We sign for it. It needs to be signed, and then we enter a room. Then we go do what we call a briefing, you know, crew briefing. So we brief our destinations. We introduce ourselves. You know, make sure everyone is happy.
You need to be in a good mood to carry this
yes.
machine into the sky.
If you're not in a good mood, no. So make sure everyone is happy. If someone is ill or so, you can actually pick it up and then probably call a standby. And then
there's always somebody on standby.
Standby, yes.
In case
that's
a scheduled crew can operate.
That's correct.
Okay.
So we do a crew briefing, and once that is done, we go on board the aircraft, and then get to the aircraft, and then do all our checks, and then we do another crew briefing, just for the pilots. You know, brief for our emergencies, our flight path, you know, and have the aircraft ready. Once the aircraft is ready, you've done all your pre-flight preparations. Then we call our dispatch office. Then we advise them, look, the aircraft is ready.
Bring passengers.
Bring passengers.
Okay.
They're the one paying us now. So we're going to make some money.
Yeah.
You know, and then we just depart. And then depending on the number of sectors you have a day, Accra, Kumasi is regarded as one sector. Back, that's also another sector. So sometimes you have a 4-sector day, you have a 6-sector day, and you don't just fly and say, okay, I'm departing at 6 o'clock. I can end around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. No. We have limitations. You know, what you call crew and duty limitations that we need to respect.
All these are meant to ensure safety.
All these are meant to ensure safety, and it's all recorded. You know.
Okay.
And once you land back, your duty is only over half an hour after you chalks on.
Oh, okay.
Now, you know, you've parked the plane. The park brake has been set, and that's it.
Okay.
You know, so half an hour after that.
Oh, okay. Why so?
Then you can actually dispatch to wherever you want to.
Why so?
Well, within the half an hour, I mean, you basically cannot just, you know, park the aircraft, shut it, the engines down, and just disembark.
Okay.
You know, certain documentation needs to be.
Any
reports
to
reports. You need a voyage report. You need to write a report for a particular flight, so it doesn't just end there. You know, and then after that you will do a crew briefing, a very quick crew brief, a debrief, basically, and then we all leave the plane.
Viewers, we'll take our final commercial break. When we come back, we'll wrap this up. Please don't go away. Viewers, you're welcome back. I have with me here in the studio Captain Nasser Sinari. Captain, please tell me this. Daytime is okay. Accra to Kumasi is just about 30 minutes. At night, how do you make your way through the skies? I mean, how do you navigate from Accra to Kumasi or Kumasi back at night? There's something viewers would love to know. Tell me about it.
Right. So, flying during the day and at night, with the aircraft or the airplane, let me put it this way, once you're airborne, anything underneath you is irrelevant. Okay? I don't need to look backwards to see where Kotoka is. You know? And the aircraft is moving.
Okay.
You know, the most important thing is the weather en route. Your airplane is performing. and the instrumentation, what guides you. So we use our instruments, you know, to guide us all the way to London. And at night, same thing like the day, same procedures. Okay, but at night, there's only one key: runway lights. Okay, and approach lights. So without the runway lights and approach lights at night, or during low visibility, even during the day, during the harmattan, you will be unable to land. Yeah, so approach lights, runway lights is the key to a successful landing at night.
Okay. Let me put it this way. So when you take off, you go over the sea, you turn and face Kumasi. Do you physically fly the aircraft for all the 30 minutes into Kumasi? For us, the passengers, we don't even see the ground. Yes. How do you navigate the sky?
With the airplane, once we get airborne, at about 1,000 feet above ground level, we engage the autopilot.
The what?
Okay, the autopilot.
Autopilot, okay.
Yeah, so the pilot is engaged, and usually at 1,500 feet above ground, we disengage the autopilot. The autopilot, it's the third pilot.
Oh, okay, it's more like captain, computerized.
Yeah, the first officer, and you have the autopilot as well. But that does not mean that once it's on autopilot, that's it, you just relax. No, we actually monitor every phase of flight. We actually monitor to make sure the autopilot is doing exactly what we want it to do. You know, we don't just push buttons and that. No, we actually monitor everything. Yeah.
I read something about auto land. Like the aircraft is able to land itself.
Brake. Yeah, but in Ghana we cannot. We cannot do auto land. Auto land in South Africa, OR Tambo International. Okay. In Egypt, Cairo, yeah, they have. You can do auto land. Cat C. We call it Cat 3C. In Ghana is basically Cat 1. Which means that you can go all the way down to 550 meters. Okay, RVR we call it, runway visual range, or basically 800 meters visibility. Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you this too, Captain. I've been on a flight where just some 10 minutes into the flight, Captain comes on air to say we have a problem, and so we need to go back to the airport. Now, he says it without everybody understand, we need to go and jettison fuel. What is the reasoning behind that? It means you're going to dump off the fuel in the aircraft and then you come back and land?
An aircraft has what we call a maximum takeoff weight. Okay, you can't actually exceed that. Because something happens, they come and investigate. Obviously, they will ask you why you did that. You lose your license for that. We also have a maximum landing weight, you know. So once we get airborne, something happens, we need to get back. We need to look at our maximum landing weight. And the big aircrafts, what they do is that they have a dumping site, an area, you know. So just fly towards there, and then
typically where?
It depends. Yeah, it usually depends.
For Ghana,
from country to country. In Ghana, I would say over the ocean.
Over the ocean.
Yeah,
okay.
Over the ocetion, and then once you dump some fuel out, you're able to dump some of this fuel out, and then you are within.
You get your landing weight.
Yes, within weight, you know, within that range, and then should be able to come back and then land, you know. And let me also put it this way: sometimes we get airborne, and we have a small, maybe a minor issue, you know, and it's the captain's choice, you know, and you probably don't want to continue with that, you know. It could be something very minor that you could go come back, but I mean, per company policy, we want to actually come back. We call it air return, for an engineer to actually check it out for us, and then it becomes a, you know, blown out of proportion.
Full blown, yeah.
Yes, thinking that it was a major problem, or you know, so. I mean, once you have a phone now, everyone becomes a journalist now. You know, people put in certain wrong information, misinformation in the media here and there. So sometimes you hear of an air return, an aircraft departs, let's say to Takoradi or Kumasi, and that's an air return. Don't just believe whatever is sent out. You know, usually make contact with the company, and they will be able to be in a good position or best position to give you all the relevant information. But to hear something in the media, A, B, C, D, and just jump into conclusion, I don't think it's right. And it actually puts fear to other passengers too as well, you know, first-time flyers.
Give us an idea. What quantity of fuel, like Accra to Kumasi, what quantity of fuel you're looking at? Liters, as in liters, gallons?
Accra, Kumasi, we fly on the Dash 8, you fly the 400 and 300. Okay, so the 400 series, for example, we consume at least 600 kilograms. And in the 300, it's in pounds.
No,
okay. The 300, you probably consume about, let's say, 900 pounds, 900,000 pounds. And it depends on the weather. The heavier the aircraft, the more the consumption. You know, because you need more power. You know, it depends on the weather of the day, and if there are any delays out there. You know, so a lot comes into play. Yeah.
Well, Captain, there's so much to talk about, but viewers, I believe you had a good time staying with us through this episode. I'm sincerely grateful to Captain Nasser for making time out of his busy schedule to stay through with us. Captain, we are very, very grateful. It was interesting having you here on set. Viewers, we'll see you again on our next episode. Thank you for watching.